And greetings. Welcome to today's Overtime. It is the post-show show that we do each broadcast day just for all of you, our beloved Blaze TV subscribers with us. The crew from the Steve Deace Show, we are noon to 2 Eastern right after Glenn Beck here. That's myself, Steve Deace, along with Todd Erzin and Aaron McIntyre. We stick around after that overtime and give you, our beloved subscribers, a little something extra, not just because it's Christmas time, but also because you subscribe. You pay the bills, you're the wind beneath our wings, and we would like to keep getting paid. So we want to give you even more bang for the buck in the hopes that that'll incentivize you to keep writing that monthly check for Blaze TV. But then secondly, it's because there's always something that we didn't have time to get to during the daily program, so we set it aside to address it here. And today it will be some news that broke right towards the end of the show today. I had been tipped off a couple of days ago that it was coming, but asked not to comment on it until it became official. But The Hill is reporting that friend of the program, Emerald Robinson, who was by far, with no close second, guys, the most popular and marketable personality at NEWSMAX TV. I know they brought in Eric Bolling, who has a huge following, but he developed that following because of his time at Fox, right? She developed this organically, well, originally at OAN, but she really developed this through a lot of her work at NEWSMAX, because a lot of people don't have the access to watch OAN, right? She's out at NEWSMAX, according to The Hill, and it goes back to the information that she shared on our show in the overtime about what may or may not be included in the vaccines. What troubles me about this is she shared information that is true or it is not. And I can't remember, how is it pronounced? I want to make sure I get it right. It's
Luciferase.
Luciferase, thank you. Either this Luciferase, which is basically a tracking form, it's a form of a tracking system, if I recall her.
Yeah, it glows.
There's more to it than that,
yeah.
but that's basically what it is, okay? Either this is in these vaccines or it isn't. And, I mean, NEWSMAX can hire and fire who they want. You know, I thought a year ago at this time, I was pretty optimistic about them as a news gathering challenger to Fox, to try to challenge them from the right. You know, I've even stopped following them on Twitter in the last 5-6 months. Outside of Emerald and a couple of other people, frankly, it's pretty lame. Okay. And clearly they got Christopher Ruddy, or whoever's, you know, he's the founder, president of it. Maybe he's not running it anymore. Whoever's calling the shots over there clearly got squeamish about what happened with Mike Lindell and January 6th and everything else, and got the wrong message out of that, and have just essentially become Fox with lesser talent, I guess is what I would say. Okay? Like, what would Fox be with no Tucker Carlson? And it was just like all, you know, well, like Hannity. So it was just GOP rah crap, but like no substance, right? Okay. You know, Lindsey Graham is on NEWSMAX. I see in my feed all the time. Well, you know a tree by its fruit, if you know what I'm saying, G, right? Okay. Clearly, whoever's calling the shots at NEWSMAX got very squeamish with what it took for them to experience a new level of success. And they've just dialed it down to kind of the basic GOP pablum that it was as a website for many years, which is why it stopped being as popular as it was for a long time. And hey, if they want to sell out, you know, they want to take the easy way out, you know, they want to appease the big tech gods, it's their business. They can do whatever they want with it. What just troubles me, though, is either Emerald, and I say this as someone, I like Emerald. I know her personally, okay? But either she deserves to be credited or discredited. You know what I'm saying? And if she were here, she'd agree. She asserted something that is either factually true or it is not. Like, I don't know what's open for interpretation. Either this stuff is in the vaccines or it isn't, right? Yeah. No one at NEWSMAX is interested in knowing whether or not that's true information. We're not talking like Emerald Robinson like went off and pulled a Steve Deace and, made a full vagina comment about Carly Fiorina. And now management's uncomfortable with the blowback. Something like, I totally get that, right? Okay. Mm-hmm. No. She asserted a statement as if it is a fact, which means it's a fact or
it isn't.
It isn't. Is no one at NEWSMAX is interested. If you're going to go work at NEWSMAX, you should probably know. And hey, we all got to pay the bills. I get that, but you should know your management over there. I can tell you about my management here. So our CEO, Tyler, is more radicalized on COVID than even I am now. Our relationship has evolved to the point he is sending me stuff now. And I'm like, I don't know if I can say that on the air. Okay. I don't know if you want me to talk about that yet. But when we first started and we were kind of the lone wolves, even of our own platform, I felt an obligation for them to know that I could prove the things I was claiming. It doesn't mean my take on those things was right. My analysis about what will happen as a result of them or why they happened was always correct, but that factually I had done my homework, right? Mm-hmm. And as long as my facts were right, then we were free to go wherever we wanted to go, provided we could back that up. No one running the show at NEWSMAX, Chris Ruddy or whoever he's hired there to run the operation for him. Nobody at NEWSMAX wants to know if their most bankable star. Guys, it's not easy to find a scorching hot chick who has balls and is freaking brilliant and can stand up there at the White House and deliver on cue without any kind of a script 5 minutes over and over again of compelling content. If there was, there'd be a lot more people inside the White House press corps. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. She's not easy to replace for them. So you maybe before you let your most bankable star go, don't you want to know if she told the truth or not? And the fact, it's not that Emerald Robinson's gone because she said that Joe Biden's a demented doofus who hates America. She's gone because she asserted something that is true or it is not. And yet NEWSMAX doesn't seem to be all that concerned about the truthfulness of that statement. And I think that is something that all of us that consume alternative media should be very, very concerned about.
Well, you keep using a word. And to quote the great prophet Inigo Montoya, I don't think that means what at least they think that means.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going around these days, brother. So
it's truth. Truth be told, the good, the true, and the beautiful. Your show motto. I talk about it all the time. We're living in a post-truth world. And it's all the more evident when we know Jen Psaki, the obvious foil for Emerald Robinson. Emerald Robinson always asking a question as she walks out. Psaki refuses to answer. But that we expect that from the progressives. Mm-hmm. Go back to our own show today. Steve's interview with Senator Ron Johnson. And him just, that entire discussion was ultimately about, this is true. And it's kind of obviously true. And no one, including the people on my side, care. That's exactly right. And it's not just COVID. People don't care, broadly speaking, about the entire notion of the truth anymore. And that includes journalists. It's about narrative. It's about wish casting. It's about storytelling. It's about clixio. But we need to know that our side is it's not a side worth being on anymore. Mm. It hasn't been a side worth being on for a very, very long time. Which is why I have a tendency, and we have a tendency as a show, to just kind of operate in my own independent ecosystem. And if you agree with me, great. If you don't, then we don't. And then later, if we disagree, we disagree. And later, if we agree, we agree. But that's why we don't tend to run with cliques and packs and troops on our program. This is why. Yeah. And this is so, we shouldn't, You shouldn't have a shocked face here. We also talked on the show about Bill O'Reilly today. Remember, Bill O'Reilly was famous for framing his show as the no spin zone.
Right.
And then,
ironically enough,
he went on our network and spun his ass off for a narrative that he preferred. This thing called journalism, it's taken all the way to. I still worked, and Steve worked with them at the Register as well. Reporters who said they wouldn't even vote because they just it was their way of reminding themselves that what I do, this fourth estate, is so important to maintain this down the middle objectivity. I'm not even going to vote. Now, I don't think you need to go that far, but it's still, we all do different things to remind our craft. Here's what we do to make sure we're honest with ourselves. We're so far away from that in the entire world of journalism. And I don't know what NEWSMAX has planned. This is the part of this is really interesting for me because it's so for craven money-making, highlight-seeking reasons. This makes no sense. You would lean in. You would want all the sound bites of Emerald Robinson going after Psaki. So it's that if they don't want to do that, the cult clearly has sway over them because their base instincts of profit aren't kicking in. It just, how deep into the pool is it? Just at the level you talked about? Mm-hmm. Management is nervous, but they don't know what to do. So this thing is just going to slowly wither.
Steve Cortez is out because he's unwilling to go along with their, imposition of COVID stand. Right. I've been told there could be a couple of other prominent people at NEWSMAX that might be out over the exact same thing. So
does this thing wither on the vine because of the cult just at the top? Or does this thing turn? It wouldn't shock me if on one level, if NEWSMAX within the next 5 years is Vox. Because that's what cults do. They make you lose your damn mind.
What do you think, Aaron?
I won't say I'll never forget this, but it sticks out in my mind so much. The Saturday after the election last year, or whatever that was. The Saturday after that, I believe, was when Joe Biden and the media all got together and said, okay, we're going out with the narrative right now that he won. We're just going to do this now. We went down, Bella and I went down to Kansas to visit her grandma that night. Joe Biden had some sort of ceremony where he claimed victory in the election. And her grandma had NEWSMAX on the television. Guys, the thing that I can't remember who was hosting the coverage of this, the things that they were saying, I don't think we've ever even gone so far as they did on this show. Not even on Overtime. Mm-hmm. And like, you boy howdy, whether or not this is actual genuine concern, genuine belief, genuine courage of conviction, genuine anything, if they figured out that they can garner and get a big audience with red meat like that, talking about the election specifically this time, and they had just rolled out their new HD set, good grief. Blaze is going to have some competition. Daily Wire is going to have some competition because NEWSMAX has their foot in both worlds, digital and linear. That's going to be a problem. Here's what's happened, though, in the last year, 12 months. They decided they didn't want to eat the damn chicken sandwich anymore. That's literally the same thing that they've gone through is the same thing that Mitt Romney has always been. It's not for you anymore. Mm-hmm. That's what they've decided. That's their decision, as you pointed out. They're free to sell out if they want. But holy cow, with the resources that it seemed like they had, like the connections that it seemed like they had, with the ability to get inside the White House press corps that they had, it seemed like they were gearing up to be some sort of an alternative media powerhouse, maybe the likes of which a Blaze or a Daily Wire could never attain. But management But management there apparently decided, not for you. We like our money better. We've reached this status and we'll just kind of stay here. Thank you very much. The ironic thing, though, is unless your name is Sean Hannity, I'm not really sure with any degree of success that you can sell out forever. They're gonna have to figure out an alternative source for their audience, at least in my opinion. But at the end of the day, they decided, this chicken sandwich was good for a little bit. It's getting a little bit too spicy now. Not gonna eat it. Not gonna eat it. And it's just an allegory and another story in so many, and a long line of stories, both in conservative politics and in conservative alternative media. You make your bones, you make your bucks, decide, I've had enough, and then you sell the hell out.
I got into this business just because I want to know what the truth is and help as many people find truth as I possibly can. Less and less, regardless of which side of this business you're in, does the truth matter to too many people. The truth is what I need to do to pay my bills, what I need to do to get the access I want, what I need to do to attain the significance I want. And that's the truth we're living by. Basically, like, I don't know, that's my truth thing rather than the truth. That'll do it for today's Overtime. We're back at it again tomorrow, noon to 2 Eastern, right after Glenn Beck here on Blaze TV. Until then, John 3:17.